You know, this is my normal Tuesday get up. I just forgot to come over here. I mean, I was on my way to the gym actually. But I figured it would be, this is my standard costume. Johnny Blue knows about it, and Cleo too. But it's going to take an incredible effort by LSU to stay in this game against Alabama. So I came up with some stats. I'm a junkie for stats. I like to look in the box scores and see the story behind the story, if you will. My peripheral vision's a little bit altered here. But I'll say this, Jim Henderson had to leave, but he is a Louisiana treasure. You know, I'm 50 years old. I grew up listening to Jim Henderson. And just like a lot of other great sportscasters who've been in the city, I'm sure he could have left for national jobs, but I'm glad he stayed, and I'm glad that he still calls the Saints games on Sunday. He is, in my opinion, a Louisiana treasure. So, although you're not here to hear it, Jim, that's my comment. All right, so I think Coach O, a lot of people wanted his head after the Troy loss, and I'm sure a lot of people in this room know this statistic because you guys are sports junkies as well. But the last home loss to a non-conference team in 2000, the coach of that team was Nick Saban to UAB. And what happens in times of adversity, in my opinion, it's not about what happens, it's about how the team responds after the adversity hits. And I think we can all agree that the team has responded in a very favorable manner, 3 in a row. That's tough to do in any conference, but especially in the SEC. 2 on the road. You can say Ole Miss is a cupcake and Florida's not that great of a team, but to win on the road in the SEC is not an easy task. So here's some stats. Since 2008, every third year, the visiting team wins in overtime, including 2011, which was the last time LSU beat Alabama 9-6 in Tuscaloosa. Oh, Jim, I just talked good about you, so that's okay. You're back. Time is not great, not incredible at all. But that's an interesting statistic that we all know that these teams tend to play better on the road. Maybe it's the world against us. Here's a stat, though. It's since the post-Bear Bryant era, since 1982, visiting team, I should say the home team, LSU as the home team is 4-14-1. Alabama is 6-11. What does that mean? I don't know. We'll get to that. Nick Saban, since he started at Alabama, he's 8-3 against LSU. He's had our number again, including those 6 straight. Alabama, number 1 in the SEC in defense. And when I tell you, number 1, they're number 1 in just about everything. I had to look long and hard to see if LSU was above them in anything. They are. Passes defended, LSU's number 1, Bama's number 2. We have 39 passes defended, they have 38. It's interesting though. Sometimes you got to go deep to find it. You know, offensive statistics, nobody really jumps out. Danny Etling is the number 3 rated quarterback in the SEC. Does anybody know that? That's in the QBR. College QBR is a little different than the pro. It's a lot different actually. But from a QBR standpoint, he's number 3. Jalen Hurts is number 6. The Missouri quarterback and the Georgia quarterback are 1 and 2, in case you were curious about that. LSU defense is number 3 in the SEC, number 7 nationally. On that one, when you look at the biggest difference between LSU and Bama, they're about the same in passing yards. Bama gives up nothing rushing, 63 yards a game. Wow. And LSU could not move the ball. We ran the ball, I think it was 27 to 28 times last year for under 60 yards. I don't know if that's going to work. I don't think that's going to work. But I watched Coach O's press conference yesterday, and he said it verbatim that this week, the Matt Canada hiring was about this week. You give a guy like Matt Canada an extra week to prepare, he's going to find something. Bama doesn't give up much. But, you know, I think that our best opportunity is going to be short passes with where our offensive line doesn't have to give Danny Etling too much time. I don't think he's a guy you want to roll out. He's not going to break the perimeter. He's not going to beat the edge guy. I wouldn't do that. It's a short control drop, and it's get get the ball in your playmakers' hands and then make some blocks downfield. LSU does a good job blocking downfield. The receivers and tight ends do an excellent job of blocking downfield. And that's why some of these jet sweeps have worked as well as they have. Trust me when I tell you, they're going to be ready for the jet sweep. Trust me when I tell you, they're going to be ready for everything. And that's one of the things that all the shifts in the motion and all that stuff, it does make a team prepare for different things. Don't be surprised if LSU does, I don't know if everybody remembers the first play of the BYU game when they shifted the entire offensive line and the whole dome went, oh! And we haven't seen it since. Primarily because when the defense adjusts to it, which they have to, you have to change all your offensive line calls. And with 2, 3 freshmen in there at any given time, it makes it even more challenging. So sometimes you can outsmart yourself. I just think that you're going to see a little trickery with this extra week. It's the healthiest that LSU has been, but I would say, I give our best chances to putting the ball in the hands of a DJ Chark. Short intermediate, get one block, and the next thing you know, you can be deep. Because LSU, if you look on paper, you're going to say, we're going to make Danny Etling beat us with his arm. You know, they're going to put 8 in the box. Darius Geis is not going to be able to break through, nor Darrell Williams. It's going to be tough. Couldn't do it last year with Leonard Fournette, so it's going to be a challenge. I would say that the best option for us would be to short intermediate passes with a good block, where we don't have to block the defensive line too much. And then an alternative coming from there. Who knows, you might even see an option play. You might see another quarterback. You might see Mo Narciss. You never know. Back to some stats. DJ Chark, he's an impressive guy. I mean, I think he's a first rounder next year. He's going to do well at the combine. He's second in yards per catch, about 24 plus yards per catch. How many touchdowns to receiver do you think he has? Would you be surprised if I told you the answer was 0? 0 touchdown catches. I don't know if they've been called back, but it seems like he's making big play after big play. And boy, to be the number 3 receiver in the SEC and not have 1 touchdown, that's a head scratch. He's the only one of the top 15 receivers in the SEC that doesn't have a touchdown. But I'm hoping that this is the week that he gets at least 1. But we'll see. Here's one. Darius Geis is the number 3 rusher. The kid Damian Harris is number 4, right behind the Alabama running back, number 34. Damian Harris averages, it's 8.6 yards per carry. 8.6. That down and distance situation doesn't work real well for any coordinator, including Mr. Megamind, Dave Aranda. That's what the guy's got, Megamind. Pretty good. I like that nickname. Darius Geis he's not too shabby. He's 5.7 yards per carry. But 8.6 is really, really good. The number 3 average yards per carry guy is Jalen Hurts at 6.8. So those 2 folks can really beat you and put you in some compromising situations. So I think Dave Aranda is going to have a spy. He's to make sure, but LSU has had the propensity, once it got, if you put 8 in the box, the problem with that is if they get through the first line, they're in the secondary. And that's what's happened with Alabama. People, say Jalen Hurts we're going to make him beat us. Calvin Ridley catches a 72-yard pass where he catches the ball 10 yards down the field and then breaks through. I'm hoping that's what we can do with DJ Chark. I think that if I'm Matt Canada, which obviously I'm not, that would be one of the things that I'm weighing heavily as a game plan option. LSU has 2 return touchdowns. Bama doesn't have any, so the kick return game is going to be critical. LSU's got the number 2 kicker, field goal kicker, from a percentage standpoint at 88.9, and the Bama guy, he's way down the list. He's at 73. So maybe a little edge in the kicking game, maybe. I don't think they're going to be punting to DJ Chark. I think they're going to try to angle punt it, and oftentimes when punters other than Thomas Morstead try to angle punt, they can get themselves in a little bit of trouble. Shanks, mishits. LSU did not take advantage of the breaks that they got last year. It was a 0-0 game, and LSU had the ball at the Alabama 42, 1st and 10, late in the 3rd quarter last year. Unfortunately, just could not intercepted on the first series, couldn't capitalize. And you kind of had that feeling. I don't think anybody knew it was going to be 0-0. when we missed a field goal in the first quarter last year, but it came back to haunt us. That's the theme. When you have the opportunity, you have to make the most of it. I think the opportunity is going to come in the way of the kicking game and big plays. Bama's just not the team you grind it out on, and you know, LSU, knock on wood, has had some success. Florida had a couple of drives. I almost take the Troy game out, the bell curve, throw it away. But this team has galvanized, in my opinion, since the Troy game. They're going in there with a nothing to lose mentality, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a game that goes into the fourth quarter, and you never know, catch a break and take advantage of it, something could happen, much like the 2011 game. So that's what I think is going to take an incredible effort by LSU, all three phases, and maybe even a little luck. So we'll see what happens. That's why they play the game. 21-point dog, 7 o'clock, CBS. I'm sure everybody will be watching. Enjoy yourselves, folks. Any questions? Any questions? Yeah, Ron? As a matter of fact, yes. She's Mrs. Elastic, too. Just saying, my wife's got the costume at home. No, I have a nice Chief Indian. It's a little warm. A little warm. This isn't that hot, believe it or not. Yes, I got it. Any other questions? All right, thanks for having me. Ken, appreciate it.